We are about to start the new market in red. We will see what's going on with Bitcoin today, and also why I think Bitcoin is set to reach 45,000 in May. So now, according to blockchaincenter.net, their rainbow prediction, their rainbow chart, which I've seen before, it seems kind of silly, but it kind of measures out. The red is like the maximum bubble, the maximum FOMO. And then the blue is basically fire sale, maximum capitulation. Okay. And according to this, of course, by the end of the year, we could have max FOMO again or max dumping once again. So what is it predicting? Well, if we get maximum FOMO, okay, max bubble territory, meaning Bitcoin is looking like it wants to come down urgently, Bitcoin will be somewhere between $151,000 to $200,000. Do I think we will see that by the end of the year? Probably not, although that's not out of the realm of possibility. People have predicted just recently that we can see a new high by the end of the year. Okay, so could happen. Then you have a little bit, a little less FOMO between 114,000 and 151,000, and then you have one that's between 88,000 and 114,000. You get the point, right? But let's say something disastrous happens, maximum capitulation, fire sale. If Bitcoin dips back down to the blue area, it would be somewhere between 16,000 and 21,000, which honestly wouldn't be all that bad, because that's basically bringing us back to where we were before, not making a new low. It wouldn't be optimal, right? Especially since now we're, right around $30,000 again, but still. And even if we just hover in the middle, okay, we're in the hodl stage, not even top or bottom, in the middle, in the yellow point, that would still put Bitcoin between $51,000 and $68,000. So even there, we would be pretty close to our previous high, and we enter 2024 getting ready to break it, right? So if you think about that, that's pretty phenomenal, according to this rainbow chart. But again, who knows? Who knows where Bitcoin will be at the end of the year? I do know this. I think it's going to be way higher, much higher than where it is now. So, and here's another one. Yeah, there's just so many. Like I said at the beginning, besides just counting days from our bottom, right, to the next halving cycle, but there are so many like this that's just measuring our movement versus previous cycles, and it just looks good. Take a look at this chart, okay? Some of you guys may be wondering, why is Bitcoin going down today? Well, this is a really good explanation. So if you're looking at Bitcoin, you could see how it's forming lower lows and lower highs, right? And according to this, well, Bitcoin is set to drop even more, right? But you notice while it's doing this, it tends to go up and down, up and down. It doesn't go all the way, right? Right? What you may not see on screen right now is that this is an inverse chart, okay? So why I'm showing this is important, because people generally, they believe when Bitcoin is going lower, there's a pattern that forms. They believe that it has to go lower for some reason. There's more people that believe that Bitcoin will go lower than higher according to charts. But when you have an inverse chart like this, it's pretty obvious, right? Like somehow the psychology of this changes. Like you look at it like this, you're like, oh man, Bitcoin has to be going down more, right? But the numbers are inverse. So actually, if you look at the top right-hand corner, that's actually when Bitcoin bottomed out around 16,000. And since then, yes, we have been forming this pattern, right? And this goes to show you that sometimes Bitcoin does come down. So for some of you guys, it's like, oh, it's over and Bitcoin's going under. Well, just look at this, okay? Sometimes Bitcoin does come down. It takes a breather, it consolidates, and then it moves right back up. That's what I think is happening. This is just normal activity, okay? So nothing to be panicking over right now. But as for this 45,000 prediction in May, why Do I and many others think that this is coming? Well, just look at it. This is our current movement from 2022, okay, versus the 2018 movement. And basically, if you lay them on top of each other, you see that we're basically mimicking, right, each other. So this is actually looking at the days from bottom leading up to roughly 198 days. That's when, from 2018 all the way to 2019, that's when Bitcoin topped out around 14,000, coming from a low of 3,000. Okay, so this is basically pinpointing the same thing. After 198 days, Bitcoin, this is roughly next month around May 20th, right? If you're looking at the same kind of growth from bottom to that peak, that kind of like pre-pump before the real pump happens, Bitcoin should be right around $45,000. Okay, this is just using simple calculation of how many days have passed. But of course, there's many other charts that measure other things that also say the same thing, basically, right? I've shown so many fractal patterns over the last, I don't know how many months, that indicate that Bitcoin, whether or not you're using Elliott waves or Fibonacci levels or moving averages or just other technical indicators, I've shown so many over the past few months that indicate that Bitcoin will be somewhere in the 40s to 50,000 range by the summer, right? Maybe not exactly in May, maybe June or July, but everything is pinpointing that is where we will end up. So, like I said at the beginning, besides just counting days from our bottom, right, to the next halving cycle, but there are so many like this that's just measuring our movement versus previous cycles, and it just looks good. Just looks really good. No matter how you slice it, Bitcoin is recovering. Bitcoin is getting stronger. Alts are getting stronger as well, right? And the market is looking like it wants to pop, okay, as we head into 2024. And we're about halfway through 2023 already, which is crazy. We will be entering May in a couple of weeks.